Welcome Afrinique-Chic Royalists. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we have the phenomenal Fafa. And he's going to tell you a little bit about who he is, what his business is about, how he plans to grow within the country and within Africa. But also, the most important thing, what makeup does for a woman or whoever wears it actually, and how that can transform how you feel, but also empower you and maybe even tell your story to the world. But the future of makeup as well, and the future of his brand as an individual. So let's get right to it, and then you can obviously, as you know, you're more than welcome to, I don't know, tweet, Instagram, tag, DM for any questions or inquiries or anything you want to know. That's what we're here for, to actually start a real conversation with you guys and tell you the real truth about not just how to start your business, how to stay in it, but also hopefully grow and collaborate with others so that you remain on top. So let's get going. Hi, Fafa.
Hello, thank you for having me. I feel so blessed to be part of the Royalists. So, my name is Fafa. I've been doing makeup for around 10 years now. And for me, makeup is a self-expression. It's creating art through being yourself. Let's say you're more vivacious, you're more glamorous, you're a little bit more timid. It all depends from personal aesthetic and personal style. And through makeup, you can be anyone you want to be. So that's why I actually fell in love with makeup, because it's truly a thing of who you are, doesn't matter. Who you want to be, that's who matters. Who you strive to be, that's who matters. So for me, makeup is that in itself. It's a mask, but it's a glamorous mask.
True.
So for me, yeah, that's it.
Okay, so tell me, you've been in this for how many years now?
10 years.
So you've been in this for 10 years, and I think in Africa it's still a bit strange to have a male makeup artist, yeah?
I think it is very uncommon, even though a lot of studies have shown that a lot of women actually feel a lot more comfortable using male makeup artists because it's less intimidating. Okay. Imagine you're 34, let's make it more realistic. Let's say you're 48, 49. You are a mother of 3. Now you've had a bad day, you actually just want to feel glamorous, you don't want to be like antagonized or feel like pores or wrinkles. Now this young girl, she's 19, she has skin like marble, she smells incredible, she's taller than the heavens, her hair is laid, she has no wrinkles, no texture, she's just beautiful. Imagine that's coming to you. How are you going to feel?
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
Intimidated. Now what's intimidated about a chubby, potato-looking, white, beautiful guy? Hello! There's nothing intimidating about a potato.
But that's because you guys haven't seen him in actual makeup. But let's move on. Okay, so we see what you're saying in terms of intimidation. But what I want to focus on today is because obviously women like men are very different. I think I'm on the opposite spectrum. I think you either get intimidated, but I feel like that's a you thing, not so much the person.
Yeah.
But in terms of the makeup industry, what type of industry is that? And to the youth who are trying to break into the market, what would you advise them? I mean, how did Fafa go about starting and getting to where he is? And did you do that by yourself? Did you have help? What did you do to give them give us a bit of a spectrum? We want to know.
So I'm very blessed in the sense that I had an extremely glamorous mother, and my mother lived in Dubai. So every time I went to Dubai, I would do short courses, or I would watch her do makeup, or she would send me into a workshop to see how things work, or she would teach me. And I mean, I was in high school when I started doing makeup, and I started doing makeup on my friends, and I just practiced. And then I got a little career on the side. I was working in a pharmacy. I was selling Clarins.
Okay.
And from there, I moved to Chanel. I worked at Chanel, was hustling. I was color specialist for Chanel. And then I was working for MAC, worked for MAC Cosmetics. I worked in Santon, and then I worked in Mainland. And then from MAC, I went to Afrinique. So it was not an easy ride at all. It has been tiring. It's been a struggle, but a good struggle. Because every single thing that I have learned in my life has led me up to being the person I am today.
Right.
So I think to the young people coming in, like the makeup industry and the beauty industry is a very harsh place.
Right.
It is not a forgiving place. Right. It is a place where you need to go in, be confident. Don't worry about what people are saying about you. What people are saying about you is none of your business. Be
That's
your
true.
own unique person and just work as hard as you can. Be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be Jackie Aina. Don't try to be Pat McGrath. Don't try to be Scott Barnes or some YouTube people. Be your own individual self, because that is what makes us Africans special.
Okay, so that having been said, I suppose what I want to ask you is I love that you've told us the truth. And I think what a lot of the youth do is we kind of get out of school or like follow our passions and just assume everything's going to fall into place and everything's just rainbows and everything.
Perfect.
And I think what's important in your story is that you kind of worked in big industries and in big brand labels to try to kind of assimilate to what you wanted, what your style was, and so on and so forth.
Make connections.
Yeah. So that having been said, it's how would you say your business is now thriving within the current South African climate, but also could possibly thrive within the African climate, and how does that compete with the international stage, or do you want it to compete or not? So tell us a bit more about that.
I think for Africa at the moment, we, especially women, are finding their voices. It is now the time to be a woman. It is now the time to be individual, to be someone of color, to be someone who is proud of their roots. And I think for now, women have actually found that makeup can be empowering, and especially African women. I think African women for the longest time period have been in the stigma where their mothers taught them, you can't wear too much makeup. Don't wear too much makeup. And I mean, all the girls killing it now in the game, go on Instagram. These are women of color. These are women who are confident. They do not care what people think. They are living their lives. So for me, the makeup industry in Africa at the moment is, I mean, it's a standout. If you look at places like Nigeria, like they are killing the makeup game.
Right.
They have some of the most incredible artists working on their MAC counters for instance, like Mark Louis, who is the artistry advisor for MAC South Africa. I mean, he's done New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week. And I mean, these are people in our country, in our continent of Africa and South Africa, that are making trends out there, creating trends and building trends. So I think a lot of us feel that, she's doing it there, like in California, or she's doing it over there in Paris. No, baby. This is where we're at.
Homegrown.
I think the moment we break the stigma that we are behind in things, that's when things are going to change. We are front running. We just need to look in detail and look a little bit closer.
That is so true. I so agree, and especially in terms of being a business owner, but also being a Pan-Africanist, which is what you are, because we don't believe, I think, in business in discriminating against the norms or being anti this. This is it's not a political show, it's not a political interview, it's just speaking some truth. So in terms of that, where it's almost every business, every kind of gimmick has a politicizing of something or a focus on one thing or another. For Africa, your hope for South Africa and your hope for Africa and actually the global world, how would you use the vehicle of makeup to initiate change and empower, but also create job opportunities for the youth?
I think for me, the answer to that is to give everyone a chance to uplift people, maybe that need a little bit of uplifting. People that are struggling out there to get into the game. If you see someone trying something, let's say it's as easy as someone wants to do your lipstick, or someone wants to style your hair, or someone wants to learn from you. They maybe just want to be behind you and see what you're doing. Giving those people opportunities to do that. And I feel through kindness and through love and through hard work, we as South Africa and we as Africa can build each other up. I think that's the one thing we're forgetting is to build each other up. When we're always trying to get stuff from overseas, but we're forgetting what we have here.
Right.
The moment we start supporting one another, the moment we start collaborating with one another, the moment we start giving each other a chance, that's when we're going to blossom. And that's when the world's going to look like that. Oh, hey. This is a country actually working together.
Exactly.
Not trying to build walls,
Exactly.
We're breaking them.
Amazing. I love that that's your vision. And as you guys know, Afrinique-Chic is all about moving together towards a goal while empowering the individual to better empower the whole, but also hopefully change the world and start providing jobs and opportunities, but most importantly, knowledge and a platform in which to kind of ask your questions. And it's not an issue of having to be, I suppose, famous or well-known, or you can find your happy if you pursue your passion and keep working hard at it to get to where you want to get to, I suppose. Now, in terms of the fashion industry and the makeup industry, those work quite hand in hand, right? So, I mean, if you walked into, how would you go about telling an everyday woman, which I believe we all are everyday women, everyday men,
definitely.
who have like crazy schedules and they just couldn't be bothered to wake up in the morning and put themselves together. Like, what would you say to them is a quick fix in how to get into the groove and amp up your look and combine your fashion but combine your makeup? Would you say you decide how you look first and then your face, or the other way around?
It all depends from person to person. I grew up with a mother that always believed the colour of your nails should be the colour of your lips. Mm-hmm. So if she was wearing a curl, it would be a curl. If she was wearing a red, it would be a red. So that's one way of looking at it through aesthetics. Mm-hmm. But I feel for me, makeup to me is influential. Mm-hmm. So I will do a face, and then whatever we do, we'll decide what she wears. But in the same perspective, you can say, I want to wear bold cheetah print with gold detailing and turquoise. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're not going to do some kind of grey, yellow eye. Mm-hmm. You're going to do something complementary. Mm-hmm. So I think my top tip for someone who doesn't have time, they're in a hurry, before you go to bed, decide either on a shoe, a bag, or an accessory. So let's say you're doing a red shoe, everything else is black, do a red lip. Okay. Let's say you're doing a turquoise bag, rest of you is neutral coloured, do maybe like a coloured liner, like a beautiful turquoise eyeliner to complement one another. Let's say you're doing bold rose gold jewellery, do a beautiful strong brow and do a clear glass. Easy things. Pick one thing and perfect it. Okay. You don't need to do the whole shebang if you can't do it. Yeah. Do one thing. But the easiest way to look more awake and happy and fresh and not be like, oh, I died last night, is a little bit of concealer underneath the eyes, do your brows, and just put a lipstick on.
Now, you said something that's very important there in terms of doing one thing and sticking to it. Would you say that is your life saying, and like if people would like stick to the one thing and keep working at it, it would come to fruition? Or am I just...
So for me, I started with saying to myself, I really want to be good at skin. Yeah. And skin was what I was wondering about, like what I was wanting to do. I wanted to have that Pat McGrath and like that tight skin, and it was highlighted and it had beautiful contrasts. And once I perfected, I was like, okay, but what's next now? And then I started with eyes, and then it was brows, and then it was contouring, and then lips. So that could work for you if you're patient, but if you're not a patient person, try to just be good at what you're doing. Yeah. It doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing, just be good at what you're doing. Right. If your thing is lashes, do your lashes but add a lip. Okay. If you're good at brows, do your brows but do highlight. Yeah. If you're good at the lip, do your brows. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just have a balance. Yeah. Remember, like, it's gonna look weird if you have jaundice, you like this face, and then all of a sudden you've got this orange lip and you're like, oh hi. You don't want to be that girl either. Yeah. So perfect one thing definitely, but try to push yourself even a tiny bit. Okay. But just do one thing and then do another.
So I have to ask you a real serious question. Okay. And now, like I said, we're going back to stereotypes, because I think in certain industries it's a thing where it's literally like there must be an established stereotype. But especially more so in Africa. I mean, again, nobody should be upset. We're dealing with what we've dealt with.
It's the tea. It's being spilled.
So that having been said, you're a man. Yes. And I'm like I said, it's not about race, it's not about religion, but that, you know, you are this beautiful person that you are.
And the colour of
exactly. What have you come across in the country, within the country, and not necessarily in the industry, just dealing with people all the time, that you wish could change, because it's almost like being judged because of your sex or because of your race or so on and so forth? How can you change the legacy of that narrative, and what have you somewhat done so far to do that? Although it's true, your opinion isn't necessarily my issue, and I'm not trying to change that, but I'm just trying to say, because there there are young people, even people our age, who struggle every day with trying to, conform to something. And it's hard to go any other way. Sometimes society doesn't allow it, or let alone your family. So tell us a little bit more about that. How that process, how do you combat it, and how are you affecting change?
So for me, firstly, I am a white male, and I am gay. So I mean that's like double whammy after one another. But I think for me, the main thing has always been, don't judge a book by its cover. I think the biggest thing I get, especially when I tell people I'm a makeup artist, or when I'm not being too effeminate, like I'm very like, if I'm myself or around my friends, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm not, like, then I'm calm and collected. And I think the two things I always get is that firstly, if I tell people I'm a makeup artist, and especially let's say a woman of colour books me, then it will be like, she can't book me because I'm not going to get her skin tone right, or she can't book me because I don't understand her skin or her face or who she is. So I think that's one thing that like sometimes gets me, but I also understand it. Like, I know how many women, I mean, I've worked on counters, would come for a matching of foundation. They'll walk out looking ashy, or they'll come out looking like she just dipped herself in oil.
Exactly.
So I understand that, but I also feel that that's when you give a chance. Like, that's when I go out of my way to make her comfortable. Say, listen, babe, I 100% understand, but could you give me 5 minutes? 5 minutes of your time. If you don't like it, you can take it off. I don't mind. But I would love to show you what I could do for you, if you would allow me to. But if you're not comfortable, that's fine. But thank you so much for allowing me to try to do something for you. So I think, like, not overwhelming, but having respect and love. If you show someone love and respect, and you love and respect yourself, it's going to be easier for that person to do the same. And I feel that's what the problem is now, the stigma, is that the moment someone will tell you, like, let's say you come to me and you tell me, I don't feel you're going to be able to do my face. You're not going to be able to do my brows. You're not going to be able to get my skin tone right. You're just not going to. If I go and I say to them, well, then you must leave, thank you. That's not an attitude you have. Self-entitlement in the workplace and in this country is such a big thing. You cannot have that. If you have a passion for something, you have a passion for what you do, you have a passion for people. You don't have a passion for being sassy. If you have a passion for being sassy, become a drag queen. That's where you're going to thrive in. But otherwise, give someone a chance. And I think that is the biggest thing that gets me, is that and also being more feminine, that people would say, you can't be feminine, you're supposed to be a man. So for me, precisely, I don't feel I conform to anything. Because I love myself. And I have admiration for myself.
That is so
I've been through a lot. I don't need to justify myself to anyone. And that's where it cuts back to. What people think of you is none of your business. Don't make a riot about it. Love yourself, respect yourself, and have admiration for yourself. The moment you change those things, life will open up. And just remember, makeup is a one-size-fits-all.
That's awesome. Guys, valuable life lessons. I mean, 1, be yourself. Don't conform to what everybody expects. And I mean, follow your dreams and your passions and just keep working towards it. But most importantly, give people a chance to tell their story, but also be open enough to start a conversation of change. Changing lives through phases, how you look and how you feel. So thank you so much for everything. By the way, he was not toting this faith. It's by him. So as you can see, he got it right, got my personality.
Yes, funny.
But give people a chance, guys, and start a conversation and ask each other, where do you come from? What do you do? And find that common ground to work together, band together, and advance together. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as you know, you can ask us any questions. We're always open to help, but also just, talk to you. So call us, text us, WhatsApp us, DM us, so many things. And if you want to speak to a specific guest, then obviously just let us know so we can get them back on here. And then, hopefully start an actual conversation with the people who you want to talk to.
Collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration is super important. Thank you
Contact us
so much, and have a stunning day.